All right, so day two in the books. Another day like yesterday. No contact, no pads, but the guys are. As I said yesterday, I just actually tried to run down the film quickly before I came in here, and then I met with the office of staff just briefly. And I still feel like um, these guys have pretty good retention. I mean, in the midst of the install we're in, there's not a tremendous amount of mistakes, which is good. Now we got a lot of work to do. I don't act like, oh, geez, everything's great, but I'm just saying it's amazing, really. In year one of a program, usually there's a little more lag time in the beginning of preseason camp because you're trying to pick up where you left off in the spring, and it's not really ingrained. But to the kids' credit, they're really working hard, and they've done a great job with retention. So that's been good. But of course, tomorrow we put shoulder pads on. I believe it's tomorrow. That whole 5-day acclimatization thing, and then we go a couple days of that. So it's a gradual into the pads and then into contact. So tomorrow, the physicality starts picking up when the pads go on. Was I right on that, Carly? I'm right on that. Right? I got to go look it up. I got it on my schedule. So anyways, the physicality of that picks up, and when the physicality picks up, it also brings out usually more footwork mistakes and problems, right? Because you add contact in there. It's another component. But so far so good, and I like the attitude of the team, and I like where we're headed. Questions you guys have?
From what you can see so far, how's the overall conditioning of the team looking?
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. I think Frank Prino did an excellent job getting his team ready to go. But it's day two. But I mean, what you worry about is just the as they start getting tired and they start breaking down in terms of the injury rates, and you're looking this time of year, hamstring pulls and things like that, but so far so good. We've had our share of pulls, but not now.
How's this day two different to any of the other ones you've been on your stops along the way, especially Temple?
Well, I just think the retention, as I said earlier, has been great. It's a tribute to the guys here. I think we've got some really intelligent guys on this football team that really have done a great job with that. I mean, Chase Reddick is amazing. As I said to people before, they said, what's it like to have that many coordinators? That's the good and the bad news. Kind of the good news, though, is you learn how to assimilate information pretty quickly, and he's a really bright guy, and there's no issue there. I mean, that's not been an issue really yet. I mean, so that's great, and these kids have worked real hard and obviously studied hard, and they've done a great job. So I'm really pleased with that piece of it. Now, it's day two. Installation keeps growing every single day. So, like, how they gonna? My question to them after practice was, how you gonna handle in day 4 and 5 installation, and then fatigue is setting in, and then you're in the physical contact, and your body's beat up, and then what happens? The old saying, fatigue makes cowards of us all. I mean, when you get tired, things start falling apart on you, and that's part of toughness. You talk about physical toughness and mental toughness, and you have to learn how to fight through that. That's what camp is. That's what training camp is. It's the ability to learn how to fight through mentally and physically, the fatigue factor in camp, and still get better every day. Usually mature guys, older guys do better with that. So we're not hit that yet. You could ask me that question 3 days from now, and I'll give you the honest answer. I might say, hey, it's great, or I might say, I'm not happy. But right now, I think they're right on schedule from that standpoint. But we're talking about touch football right now, so put that where it belongs.
Coach, you referenced the Chase. You talked a lot about. I think a lot of us, have been concerned with how he looks, on the field and developing in that way. But
Yeah.
I think you've expressed your desire for him to be a leader.
Yeah.
And how has that message been received? And
Great.
Has he been developed?
He's been great. I mean, he's done a great job with it. He's really one of the guys, but yet he'll challenge them. And he's held himself accountable. And I really believe that it's not about Chase. I really believe it's sincere with this guy that it's about the team. I feel like our seniors really want to win for Boston College and want our team to have success, as opposed to sometimes what can come out is, it's got to be great for me. It's my senior year. I'm not saying everyone's got a little of that in them, but I see it as a guy who's done a great job wanting to have success for his team. So I'm really happy with that, and I like it. Now, like I say to you, I say to them, it's easy to be a great leader when the sun's shining and it's 70 degrees and everything's going pretty good. Sometimes it's not as easy when you're beat up and you're tired and it's 97 degrees and you've had about enough and you're in day 13 and we're going to find out then how good our leadership is. Well, I'm hoping it's going to be good. I don't have the answer to that right now, but it appears to me that it's been good, and I like the attitude, and I like the mindset. I think the intentions are all great, and I don't think that it's going to change. It's just everything's a learning process. You know, you learn how to handle that. It's my job, our job, to put them in those stressful situations, to create stress, to learn how to handle stress. Stress from fatigue, stress from hard coaching. You know, we really get on their case pretty hard. Why? Because, you know, it's really intense when it's games on the line and it's 4th and 1, you know, on the road. I mean, it's not a pleasant thing. So you have to learn to train for that. You know, I could make it zippity-doo-dah every day, but that wouldn't really help them get ready. That's not my job, you know. So we try to create those situations, and we'll continue to do that. When I see the right opportunities here as we head down into this thing, I'll turn it on pretty good when I can to start to really see if we can maintain our composure, our toughness. You know, so it's all part of training camp.
Steve, coming out of spring, you have mentioned that in the evaluation of personnel, it
Yeah.
became evident to you that being a balanced team is going to be important.
Right.
To what effect has the offensive line, you know, their cohesion kind of helped that along, and how vital will that be to the establishment of this balance that you're seeking?
Well, huge, and I think the O-line, I'm really pleased with the way the O-line's coming together. Hopefully we keep them all healthy, and you know, sometimes you get dinged up in camp and you start breaking it down, but I'd like to maintain the 5, 6, 7 guys in there and watch them grow, but they've done a good job with it. I was teasing Ryan Day today. I told him, I said, this is a really tough day for me today. You know, day 2 of practice, and we threw the ball with the ones 29 times and ran it 20. I said, I don't think that's ever happened to me in my life. So, but we've got good balance. I just want to make sure we always be 30 run, 29 pass. You know, just have one more run. But it's great. We balanced it up pretty good today, and I think, you know, the line's developing really well. I'm real pleased with that. And you know, just on a sidebar, you didn't ask me the question, but so far, you know, I like the young backs. You know, it's a big concern for us is the depth at running back, and I like the young backs so far. So that's been a pleasant deal.
How is the Patchen's assimilation to that offensive
Yeah.
line? I mean, he's a guy who comes in with a breadth of experiences. How does he go about kind of, you know, finding that balance, being a leader, and conveying those experiences to the guys who haven't had them, and at the same time, kind of, you know, blending
Yeah.
in?
I think Matt's done a great job with that. He kind of, you know, he came in here just kind of, you know, he does have a lot of experience. He's been through a lot, you know, you know, both team-wise and personally. But he's got a lot of ability. But he's just done a great job of kind of like just being one of the guys and kind of, you know, keeping his mouth shut and kind of working hard. And you know, I think, you know, not trying to come in here and just working. And you know, it hasn't been an easy path for him. And but I think he's really enjoying it here. You know, listen, we got great guys here. I mean, these are great guys here at Boston College now. This is a very welcoming locker room. You know, it's a welcoming university. You know, it's just what it is, and it's what makes it great. And you know, you get guys like Matt come in here and they notice it right away. You know, it's like, wow. It's like my son notices that. You know, they come in here like, wow, this is a great group of guys. You know, and that's a good thing. You know, we got to go win some football games, but we got a bunch of good guys.
So is your job more in coaching now than it is worrying about any culture change in that locker room? It sounds like you don't have to worry too much about that for establishing your own culture.
I think the culture of good people, as I said, welcoming, that's good. I think the team concept of not being fragmented, that's come a long way, but that, you know, that's still a work in progress. Do you know what I mean? You know, what you don't want is a bunch of little cliques. You know, so the seniors done a great job trying to embrace this whole, you know, starts within your unit, like, you know, the tight ends going out and getting a bite to eat together, the offensive line going, that kind of stuff started happening, which was really encouraging. It's really great, you know. I mean, it's not hard to lead great people in that direction, you know what I mean? Because that's really fundamentally what they want. They just seem to have fragmented and clicked out a little bit. Now they're coming back in together. So that piece of it. And then I think there's another piece, you know, Steve Diassi came in here and spoke to our team last night and did an unbelievable job, you know, and he talked about 3 things. It's amazing. I had no commentary to him coming into this. And he, Steve, you say whatever you want to say. But he talked about toughness. You know, BC's got to be a tough football team. Talked about being a team, accountable to each other, really important, and having an edge of, being able to, be on top of your assignments and using your mind. Those are three things, and we talk about those three things. But it was really cool to listen to him talk, whether it was when he played, he just keeps coming back to those three things. So to answer your question in more detail, everything's shaping, but that I still feel like we haven't been put in enough stressful situations in training camp to really test that mental, physical toughness yet. Those other pieces are getting better, are really coming along, and we have great kids, but we also got to make sure we're tough, and and Steve talked about that last night. I mean, I don't know. I'm searching for the right way to say this, but it's great to be a good guy, but you got to have that real competitive side too. Like what's beautiful is when you have a great person who's a vicious competitor, right? That's what you're always striving for, and that's what I want us to be. A group of great people, great people. But when it's time to compete, within the rules, you compete as hard as you can compete. And finding that balance is critical. And that we're working on that, right? I mean, it's hard to assimilate that.
Steve, you mentioned your seniors. It's kind of a unique group in that they've experienced the losing in the last couple of years.
Right.
Also experienced winning. How
Right.
important was that they can tell the younger guys about both sides of it?
I mean, good. The good news here is, listen, while we did not have 2 seasons that anybody wanted to have, we've all been there. But it was only a couple years ago that we came off a 12-year bowl run. 12 consecutive years of bowl games, 8 consecutive winning bowl games in those 12 years. It wasn't 10 years ago. It wasn't 7 years ago. It was 2 years ago. Okay? So, that helps because these guys do have experience with having had that success and gone to a bowl game. And so they know what that tastes like a little bit. And that's a good thing. That helps. So, when you're trying to make sure you're trying to get it back to, the whole culture understanding that not winning is not acceptable, and it's human nature. It's human nature. Over time, things set in. So we got to redirect that.
How important to the success of this team is that the defense be super aggressive, a lot of blitzing and all
Yeah.
that? If you're not like that, would it be tough to have a really successful season?
Everybody would have a different philosophy. They'd answer that differently. But, number one, beyond a doubt, if you can't play defense, you're not going to win. Okay? That's my opinion. That's our opinion. Okay? Now, how do you want to play defense? And, we want to play defense. We want to have we want a staff that's an aggressive, get after you staff. We want an aggressive, get after you scheme. Coach Don Brown is that way by nature, and that's why he's here. And there's liabilities with everything you do. There's a positive and a negative with everything you do. But we're just committed that that's the way we want to play. And but there's no misunderstanding this whole football team. We talked about it just 2 nights ago. It's all about the defense. If you don't play great defense, you're not going to win. So it centers around playing great defense. You better be great in special teams. And I'm a big believer that your quarterback's got to play real well. Now there's other things, and that's we have other things in our plan to win, but those 3 things really need to happen. And so we are going to be aggressive on defense, and I'm sure that we're going to get hit with some big plays, and I'm going to get thrown over our head a few times, and hopefully not too many, but but we've made that decision. We're all in. We're all in. We're going. And I want this team to have that mindset that we're in special teams we're going to be very aggressive. There's going to be fakes. There's going to be a lot of things going on here. And in defense, we're going to go after people, and on offense, we're going to go after people. We're not going to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust or something. It's, people think, like, oh, is that going to happen? No, it's not going to happen. There may be times in the game when that happens. You got to close the game out, wind that clock down. That'll happen. All I care about is winning. I don't really care. Like some people get caught up in like how you win, like style points or something. All I care about is winning. So whatever we have to do in the course of that game and manage that game to win, we got to win as many games as we possibly can win.
Steve, you talked about the other day, first day of camp, some of the things that were going to be of importance and interest to you. You mentioned the backup quarterback, obviously with Chase Surdians,
Yep.
kind of
Yep.
Seated as the starter. But what, in your estimation, looking at the candidates, for the backup role, are going to be important for them to kind of be able to, serve in that role?
you know, productivity in camp. You know, you got to be productive. You know, got to watch Josh move this team in training camp. You know, and we'll get in those competitive situations. You know, once we get the pads on, every day there'll be some, and then of course, you know, there'll be a scrimmage on Saturday, and you know, just either move the team or you don't. You know, I'm glad if you complete, you know, 92% in 7-on-7. I really don't care about 7-on-7. I want to see you move the team when you're getting hit. You know, so I'm going to judge that and evaluate that. You know, and so you know, obviously we hold, you know, Chase accountable to the same standards, but he's coming in as a starting quarterback right now, so we're going to protect him a little bit more. Some of the other guys, we probably won't protect them as much. We're going to throw them into the fire a little bit and see how they go, and find out who's going to take those spots. You know, and you know, you find one guy standing up, and all I mean is, you know, there's been plenty of times in history here at Boston College where all of a sudden a guy, for whatever reason, gets in there and does so good he doesn't give it back to the other guy. I mean, it's all there. It's all open. Nothing's forever. But right now, you know, Chase is a starter. Right now, you know, I think Josh is battling Mike for that second spot right now. And the second spot could always become a first, I guess. But, you know, right now that's our mindset for sure. I mean, you know, we got a clear path on what we're doing.
You guys have been really aggressive in in-state recruiting. Want to talk about how important that is to you, especially with schools like Brockton around here?
I mean, I told you when I came here that we're going to recruit, we're going to recruit, we're going to recruit. And I'm going to head that recruiting, and we're going to drive it every day. In training camp, we will talk about recruiting every single day. I mean, that's what college football is. You know, you can't, you know, we can't go draft people. You got to go recruit them. And then, you know, you got to build your football team. So, you know, in-state, it starts right here. We got really good football in the state of Massachusetts, and really good high school football programs, and it's really important to Boston College that we work inside out. We've got to dominate here, and then we got to expand. You know, and we've talked about that, how we would expand. But, you know, it's important that, you know, I believe that there's got to be a tremendous amount of pride in Massachusetts about their Division I football program. The premier eminent Division I program in the state of Massachusetts and in New England is Boston College. And every kid growing up around here should feel that. And it's our responsibility to make sure that we make everyone, fans, alumni, high school programs, feel terrific. So how do we do that? We make them feel like they're a part of this thing, and we take care of our state. So that's the philosophy, and that's the mindset, and I think that's the way you have to build it.
Steve, along those lines, you got two guys in your secondary from Massachusetts, the Eminence Breed, John Sylvia and Don described them as animals. What did, you know, how does that speak to the sort of mentality of the Yankees football?
Well, it just speaks to the mentality of Don, right? I mean, those guys, they love football. Those are football guys, you know? They remind me of some of the guys in the history here, like, you know, Jamie Silva, for example. You know, he's one of those guys. You know, I always bring it to mind because I played with his dad in college. You know, and I recruited him when I was at Indiana, but no one recruited Jamie. And all of a sudden, last minute, he came. You know, they offered him here, and he came here, and he became a really good football player because he was just a baller. You know, so like for Donnie, I'm surprised he didn't break out the dude out of you. Those would be dudes, right? They're ballers. They're just kind of guys. They love football. They play hard. They might not be the fastest. They might not be, or whatever, you know, the biggest, or, you know, but they're those kind of guys. Those kind of guys are right out amongst us, you know, in New England, and you know, they have a great appreciation for, you know, New England football, Boston College, you know. So it's here, you need to recruit intelligent, high character guys and develop them. You know, those are an example of two guys that I think, you know, are really developing. You wouldn't put them in necessarily like, you know, 5-star candidates, you know, like, but who cares? They're going to be good football players. That's what you need in the end.
Anything else
Just,
for Coach
Just day 2 here, clearly, as you said, but you know, along those lines, I mean, do you feel like every day that you're around these guys, you're closer to getting a team full of dudes moving in the right direction, in the same direction?
I don't think there's any question. I just think that it's hard for me to sit here and predict to anybody the rate of how this is going to move this program, you know. And in my mind, I don't know that you really asked me that, you know, but in my mind, it's just every day we're just going as hard as we can go. and I believe the arrow is going that way. That doesn't mean that, you know, you don't, you know, but ultimately I see this as a great path now. Is that, you know, 1 day, 8 months, 2 years? I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that, but I do know the answer to this. We can recruit, we can develop. We've got just this wonderful place, Boston College, and there's absolutely no reason why, with work ethic and time, and this thing's that needle's gonna move. And but you know, we have some serious depth issues right now, and you know, and so I always say why I keep saying day 2 is because, you know, it's real easy, as you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys down. Happens quick. And all of a sudden, you know, you're dropping down fast right now. We don't have tremendous ability to put too many other guys up there, okay? And that's just, it is what it is, but I got a little agita about it, you know? And so, because I'm not going to slow down the tempo of practice, the physicality of practice, just not going to do it. And not because I'm stubborn, just because I know that we've got to get the philosophy here the way we want to get it, but I also know the liability is that could lead to, you know, lack of productivity. So, you know, we just got to go. We're going to hope, have a little faith, and, you know, and hope that we can stay a little healthy here too. You know, we need a little help there, but, you know, we don't control that to a degree. We do to a degree, but, you know, we're not going to turn into a soft football program now, right? We can't do that, right? That'd be a total disaster. So that's not happening. So we'll just take guys that aren't ready to play and make them play as hard as they can, and that'll come back to us one day. So that's kind of the mindset, you know. But, you know, really am very excited about the quality of the people that we're working with, quality of coaches, and I think for this short period of time, I'm pleasantly encouraged by all those things coming together at this point in time. And you'll know from me, I'm just not a guy that's going to paint this picture that I don't believe in. So that's where I am today. I don't know what tomorrow brings or the next day. I really don't. But, you know, you check with me and I'll let you know.
Chase said that one of his goals, certainly long-term, is to be bowl eligible.
Right.
Realistic goal for you?
Yes, absolutely. We are fighting for that. Win the opener, get bowl eligible. Absolutely. You know, we got to get this football program's got to get back to a bowl game. You know, just like we talked about earlier. You know, I just rattled it off for you. 12 years of bowl games, 8 wins. I mean, that's a bar, and that's a bar that, in my opinion, is a bar you need to be at and climb from. So we're in a foot race for that.
We're all set, huh?
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you coming out.
Steve, I'm Mike Kelly.
Hey, Mike.
WPI.com.
Yeah, nice to see you, man.